not to get too personal, before you go to a month later, but I just want to understand, I know you guys weren't together. I know this is your space, you're living separately, but we have all broke up and had exes, but you're still intimate with them off and on. Was that the nature of y'all relationship at that point, or were y'all completely separated?
I was coerced and forced to have sex with him sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, or sometimes it was easier to do that than to fight him. Women, we do that, you know? We do what we got to do sometimes to keep the peace.
Wow. Okay. So clearly he's looking at it, you're still mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though he's living with other women, doing his thing, right? I'm his wife. And that's what he said. Because I said, you mad about this? You was living with Lisa at the time. I don't care. You my wife and then never, and blah, blah, blah. And I guess, a man just never sees his wife as sleeping with nobody else, no matter what they doing. It is what it is, especially black men, and he's Brooklyn and, it is what it is, And, yeah, that was bad.
Okay. Let's go to that fateful night.
Yeah.
Walk us through it, because this is a night that didn't end well for anybody.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this is still emotional for you, which I would have to believe it is, very much so.
Of course.
But if you, just for the sake of sharing your story and helping the audience understand, walk us through the wins, the wheres, the whys, the how.
So I can't give it to you because we have a deal on the table for the movie documentary, which is called I Did Not Kill My Husband. Because when you Google Kia Jeffries, it says singer kills boxer husband, which is not true. That man died trying to kill me, okay? He beat me with a gun repeatedly in my head and face. And he got shot in the shoulder and started beating me afterwards. And that's why the bullet moved to his heart and he died. So there's so many different facets and whys and different things. Oh my God, the police called me looking for a dead body after he died. There's so much going on. But all of this will come out in the movie documentary. But yeah.
Okay, can you at least share with us this, just psychologically? You shot your husband. He was beating you. You acted in self-defense. But still, a life was lost.
Absolutely.
How do you rebound from something like that? And I'm talking about in the moment. Let's start from in the moment.
You don't.
Really?
I don't know. I didn't know he was dead. We struggled over the gun, and I pulled the trigger to get him to let me go because he was holding on to me. And for the bullet to go to his shoulder, he could have sat down and be alive right now. We could be just talking about it together, So this always makes me feel some type of way. So I'll never get over it. I live with it every day. I live with it.
If you don't mind me asking, where was your son, when everything went down?
We were actually not home. We weren't at my house. My son was at the house. So he wasn't there for that.
Okay. He was not there at the moment.
No. And I know some of the reports. That's why we're doing this movie, because somewhere you could read that says my son was there and all this stuff. Mona Scott, I was on this show called Gossip Game, where Jazz Fly, R.I.P. Jazz Fly, man. Did you know Jazz? Jazz Waters?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
So much has happened since the COVID, man.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think that the story was told when they edited it. It wasn't really laid out correctly, because I got a lot of calls from the family saying, oh, why did you say Zaire was there? I said, I did not say that. But if you look at that, how they edited, my interview, you could get that from the way they put it, what I said together. So that's why we're doing a movie, so that we can have control over what's being said, and everything. But yeah, it's traumatic. It has hurt me financially in this business. People have judged me and have, accused me of being a murderer. And I've got bookings, and then when people Google me, they'll take the booking away and say they don't want their wife and kids around a murderer. I never murdered anyone in my life. I'm not a gun-toting person, you know? So it's hurt. It hurts. And a lot of people that I thought was my friend and my industry peoples, they act very different for the last 10 years. So
Yeah, because this is what are we talking? 2012. This all happening. You know, I couldn't imagine being in your situation, and my heart goes out to you. It really does.
I appreciate it.
Being forced, like literally forced to do something that completely changed your world. I'm sure as a little girl and even as an adult, with all that you've accomplished, you never thought one day I would be in a position where I'm fighting for my life and somebody else loses their life.
Yeah, never.
But I guess you're still a mother. And Ernest was your husband and your child's father.
Yes.
Walk me through the conversation with your child, because he loved it. He had to love his father.
He loved his father. He's still, if you look at my son's IG, he says, R.I.P. M16, the only man that could guide me through life, whatever, he's gone, whatever. Yes, my son, we both, because we weren't able to go to the funeral, we both still feel like we see him every once in a while. We might be
hold on, because I want to go to that night, or maybe it was the next day. How do you break that kind of news to your child?
So the week, maybe a couple of days before that, my son, myself, and my cousin, who's like my brother, who saved me from my husband in front of my son in Georgia one time. I had to run, and he fought him for me. And we sat down one day, and we were trying to talk about what could we do to maybe get him to leave me alone and stop stalking me. What could we do? My son was giving suggestions. Oh, maybe put him in a wheelchair, but mommy, he'll still come and get you. Oh, if you break his fingers or something, but he'll still send somebody to do something to you, Ma. I know how he is. This is how my 13-year-old was talking. So when I came home from the hospital, I already had a black eye from a month before that was trying to fade away, but was still there. So now I come home, and now my whole face, I had staples, stitches in my cheeks. I look like Martin on that episode that he got beat up by the boxer, man.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, he looked at me and he said, he's dead, isn't he?
Oh, no.
And I just was like, he hugged me.
Did he know at that point it was by your hand?
He didn't know nothing. He knew that I went to see him, and he knew that I came back by myself, and he knew that I came back bloody. He knew I had been at the hospital because he had been in touch with my mother.
Uh-huh.
And then what really hurts still is that the boy did not go to school. I mean, he did not. He went to school the next day. And me and my mom, we were all saying, like, nobody's going to fault you from, taking a few days off. You don't have to go to school, you can just kind of process. And he said, no, I'm going to go, no, I'm going to go. I said, but son, you don't have to go. He said, Ma, I can't look at your face. And I was like, okay. And that's how he had to handle it. At 13, So, we had minimal therapy at the time. Some white folks here we were living in Dunwoody. So they didn't have any type of understanding as to what we, we're dealing with. And that, so we, abandoned that. It wasn't helping. And, we just did what black folks do. Put an H on your back and handle it, baby.
And handle it. Handle it.
And we've just, thank God for my mom. She moved from Virginia. She was living in Virginia at the time. She came to Georgia and helped me with my son. And she's still here in Georgia. And, my mom's oldest sister, she's a big influence on my son, looks out for him. And, it took a village. And thank the Lord, he's okay. He graduated from college last year with honors.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
He was on a full basketball scholarship to a D1. He went to NIU, So, yeah. But it's tough. So I waited this long to kind of do anything like this because I wanted my son to be grown. Mm-hmm. And I wanted us to discuss it and he be okay. Because it's hard to discuss, hard to hear. Me and my husband's mother have not spoken since I sent my husband's body to Brooklyn for them to bury him. She is upset with me. And I begged that woman to come and get him. Send somebody to get him that month. From when he hit me, punched me in my face first, to the day he died, I was calling everyone, his brothers, everybody, saying, listen, this ain't going to end good. And I thought it was going to be me the whole time. Because look at me, I'm 5'2". That man was 6'3". And at the time, he was a little out of shape, so he was walking around with, at 200. Easy. So I just want to say, listen, I work with a not-for-profit now called Whole Life Healing Center. And we work with domestic violence survivors. We help them transition from a shelter back into an apartment. We help them find jobs. We help them with clothing. We help them with their resume. We help them with so many things. We also feed the hungry and help the homeless. We do our thing out here. And it gives me such peace to do that. But I also just want to share with ladies, like I'm going to say this again. Look at it for what it is. Your life is in danger and get out of the way. That don't mean that he can't change if he wants to, but not if you want him to. You got to protect yourself. Just like you protecting your kids, you got to protect you, And he might have been here still if I had not been just so gung-ho on co-parenting and him, being in Zaire's life. Maybe he needed to get his mind right before he could, be a co-parent right now, yeah.